So you know why we're in Syria, right? So we still occupy a third of the country. Why is that?
We're keeping the oil. We have the oil. The oil is secure. We left troops behind only for the oil.
That's why we're in Syria. So Matt Gaetz and Progressive Caucus and former Obama ambassador team up to oppose the Syrian occupation. So Matt Gaetz entered in some legislation to stop us, to get us out of Syria and stop this.
We're keeping the oil. We have the oil. The oil is secure. We left troops behind only for the oil.
That's why he can never be president.
That's why he can never be president again. And so so this guy, this super right winger, who the squad hates and said that all the horrible things about him. And then this guy, Robert Ford, former Obama guy who advocated for more intervention in Syria, is now saying this. He's now saying after more than 8 years of military operations in Syria, there's no definition of what the enduring defeat of ISIS would look like. We owe our soldiers serving there in harm's way a serious debate about whether their mission is in fact achievable. There is no mission. The mission is to spend more money and to steal their oil. Spend more money on the military-industrial complex and steal their oil. That's the mission.
Why would we defeat ISIS when they're doing what we want?
Right. ISIS is doing what we want. We're not trying to defeat ISIS in Syria. We're working with ISIS in Syria. We're funding them. On Tuesday evening, the Congressional Progressive Caucus circulated a message to its membership urging a yes vote, producing a serious bipartisan coalition. So wait a minute. The progressives are working with Matt Gaetz to end a war, but they don't agree with Matt Gaetz on LGBTQ.
That's why I'm pro-war now.
How could they possibly do that?
First of all, I want to know what bathrooms they think people should be allowed to use. Then we can talk about ending a war.
So this is the exact same thing. So how is it that the Progressive Caucus could get together with an anti-LGBTQ guy like Matt Gaetz? And he's anti-everything else too, Social Security. But I thought you weren't supposed to do that. Here they are. They're working together with people they don't agree with to end a war. I thought you couldn't do that. That's what Code Pink said you couldn't do. But then Code Pink, when they said that, revealed themselves as to not really be a real anti-war organization. They're mostly made up of cosplaying people who use anti-war activism as a social club. That's what those anti-war people in Code Pink revealed.
They're not anti-culture war. They're pro-culture war.
They're pro-culture war. And they're pro-war because they wouldn't stand up against a war with people that they didn't like for other reasons. But here is the Progressive Caucus getting in bed with those same people that Code Pink wouldn't join with. Politicians are better at anti-war than Code Pink. Politicians are better at anti-war and working across the aisle with people they disagree with to end a war than an anti-war quote-unquote organization like Code Pink. Isn't that amazing what a failure Code Pink is? An amazing failure. Just a failure of ideology.
Not the greatest name either. I don't really know what it's about.
Gaetz's introduction of the resolution, particularly with such a short timetable, so it got defeated. So I'll let you know. And the vote was 321 to 103. So 103 Congresspeople voted to end the Syrian war. Now, why would you have that vote? I always told if you had a vote that's going to not win, you shouldn't have it. They just set back the Syrian war withdrawal way back now. That's what I was told about healthcare.
Did Ryan put that in this article that he wrote?
No, he did not put that in there.
There's 5th and 10 or 3rd and 10?
That's right.
5th and 10, I said.
So the CPC has been leading on this front. Oh, really? How? You've been funding wars left and right. I wish Gaetz worked more closely with the coalition of groups that have been working on this and the CPC, said Ilhan Omar, deputy chair of the CPC, who worked with Gaetz to get the legislation to a place where Democrats could back it. They worked with Matt Gaetz. That's almost as bad as working with Jackson Hinkle.
That's worse than working with ISIS in Syria to stake the...
They worked with Matt Gaetz. They worked with him to craft legislation. I thought we're not supposed to do that. Huh. Boy, to my chagrin.
You can work together if it's to frame that guy with the Viking horns.
So anyway, it failed, but that was interesting to see how they worked with Matt Gaetz to craft legislation to stop a war, like you're supposed to. So tip of the hat to the Congressional Progressive Caucus. I think they were allowed to do this because Nancy Pelosi knew it wasn't going to pass, so they were allowed to do this. But if it had a chance of passing, believe me, they wouldn't be allowed to do this.
Wow. So now maybe Medicare would have passed. Like, is that what I should? Because they kept that from even being a thing.
They wouldn't even give it a vote. Even to think of having a vote on Medicare, how dare you?
I guess it looks less bad since most people don't know anything about Syria. It looks less bad to allow this to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
And be seen as pro-war because who's going to remember it?
People still think the Syrian war is just. If you want to see my stand-up special, become a member at jimmydore.com. It's only $10, and come see our live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Honolulu, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, and more.